If you're a high performer who wants to 10x your game, then you need to know about these emotional regulation tips. Learning how to regulate your emotions is how you actually become successful because let me tell you, there are too many people out there who feel stuck in their life who are unable to achieve their goals, and it's because they let their emotions just run rampant in their life. If you're new to this channel, my name is Dr. Bisleen and I teach you how to maximize your potential. I have helped hundreds and hundreds of people one-on-one by teaching them how to optimize their brain and maximize their potential. And I am pumped that you are here learning about emotional regulation because this is truly going to be the skill that helps take you to the next level of your life that you're meant to be at. Emotional regulation tip number one is to start off with some sort of meditation or visualization. One of the reasons why this is so important is because you're just waking up and just starting your day right away. And when we do that, there is no tone set for the day, and you automatically step into this reactive state. When you give yourself a few minutes in the morning to meditate or visualize, and honestly, I specifically mean visualization, I truly think it's one of the most powerful things that we can do in the morning. And how visualization essentially works is that it's all about you sitting down and not for long. Okay, I'm not talking about you sitting down for like 30, 40, 50 minutes and visualizing, even just for 10 minutes. It's about sitting down, taking a few deep breaths, and visualizing how you want your day to go, visualizing as to who you want to be, the person that you want to be as you show up in the day and as you move through the day. It's such a powerful exercise because it gives you so much power and control of how you want your day to go. When we just wake up in the morning and randomly jump to start our day, we're not setting any sort of tone for our day. And what ends up happening is that we end up reacting and acting based on old patterns, thoughts, and beliefs because we actually didn't take any time to sit down and think about how we want to show up in the day. If you want to get to that next level of success, if you want to actually maximize your potential, then you have to become conscious and intentional about your life. Becoming conscious and intentional about your life is truly one of the most powerful and important things that you can do because when you become conscious and intentional about how you're showing up, this actually allows you to step into a new identity and build a new reality where you are the successful person that you want to be. When you also start your day with some sort of visualization, it actually helps to reduce mental clutter. How many times have you woken up in the morning and your mind is just on, like right away on, and it's just full of all these thoughts and emotions, and like that happens to me all the time. And when you just take that moment to take a breath, to visualize as to who you want to be and how you want to show up, it significantly reduces that mental clutter. Starting your day off with some sort of meditation or visualization also helps you just start the day off in a calm way. So many of us are waking up to really hectic, stressful lives, and our cortisol levels are just shooting up in the morning. And I don't know if you know this, but naturally your cortisol levels are the highest in the morning. They peak around 8 a.m. So whenever I tell one of my patients to go get their cortisol levels tested, they need to go get the test done at around 8 a.m. so that we can see the optimal values of their cortisol hormone. And so if you're waking up in the morning and your cortisol hormone is already super, super high, and then you're jumping into a really hectic life, really stressful life, your cortisol level is going to shoot that much more. And so starting your day off with some sort of meditation or visualization helps you to start your day off in a grounded way where you feel calm and in control of your thoughts, emotions, and really your life. And lastly, one of the other reasons as to why I highly recommend anybody who's trying to be a high performer start the day off with some sort of meditation or visualization is because it helps to build confidence and it helps to prepare your mind for challenges. So when you do that, 10-minute visualization in the morning, it's all about actually walking through the day as the highest and best version of yourself. And as you're walking through the day, you literally want to imagine and visualize challenges showing up and how you can better prepare for them. This is such a powerful exercise because when and if those challenges do come up, you feel so much more confident and in control handling them because you are expecting them and because you've already built a strategy and plan as to how you would navigate through them. Starting your day off with some sort of meditation or visualization is honestly about taking back control of your life. It's about taking back control of your life and you deciding to be that opera power of your life and controlling your thoughts and emotions and directing them to the life that you actually want to build. This is such a simple exercise. All I'm asking for is 10 minutes in the morning and just watch how it radically and completely shifts the rest of your day. Tip number 2 is to take take a breath when you get triggered. This is by far one of the most important tips because so many of us are just constantly getting triggered all day long, and then we're reacting based on these triggers. And it's like, no wonder you feel like you have no control over your life because you are just constantly reacting based on what shows up in your life. And here's the thing that I want you to remember: whatever triggers you controls you. Like, let that sink in. And really think about all the things that do trigger you during the day, because all of those things have control and power over you. And if you are ready to get to that next level, stage, and step of success, you need to really learn how to manage these triggers. Because if you keep getting triggered by the same things over and over again, you are going to stay stuck at the same level of life that you're at. I want you to take this example. So Jeff Bezos, right? He is the CEO, founder of Amazon. And think about the level of challenges that Jeff Bezos has to face on a day-to-day basis. Some pretty big challenges. And then think about a business owner who makes $5,000 a month. Someone who makes $5,000 a month has $5,000 level challenges. Someone who makes, say, $100,000 a month has $100,000 level challenges. And that person who makes $100,000 a month, they don't get triggered by the same stuff that someone who makes $5,000 a month gets triggered by. And when you start to expand your nervous system and what you allow to trigger you, aka what you allow to control you, it naturally elevates you and elevates your level of success. Because if you can handle the challenges that you have at this stage and level of life that you're at, then you're prepared and ready to handle that next level of challenges, which also brings the next level of success. For example, I remember when I first started my business, every time a patient would cancel, I would just lose it. I would cry, lose my mind, think that I'm failing. And now it's to the point, if like my entire schedule just got cleared out and patients just canceled, rescheduled, did whatever, I'm just like, okay, let's see what I can do about this, and how I can make use of these hours and continue to bring in new clients so that this happens less frequently and I don't react to it as much. And therefore, this stuff doesn't actually control me anymore. And when I talk about taking a breath, what I really mean to say is I want you to take a deep diaphragmatic breath. So many of us throughout the day are actually breathing from our chest. And when you breathe from your chest, it actually keeps your body in the stress state more. When you breathe from your belly, it actually shifts your nervous system state so that your body is in the calm state. And when you're in that calm state, you can actually think about how you want to consciously show up in this moment and the identity and version of yourself that you want to embody. And so diaphragmatic breathing, essentially how it works is that when you're breathing in through your nose, you want to imagine there's a balloon in your belly that you are blowing up. And then as you blow out through the mouth even slower, you want to imagine that that balloon in the belly is deflating. You want to make sure your chest is not really moving. A lot of us will like breathe in like this, and this is actually not the right way to breathe with that chest heaving upwards. You really want to make sure you're focusing on that belly moving up and down, because we actually have a nerve called the vagus nerve that's attached to the diaphragm of your lungs that holds your lungs together. It's attached to our digestive system. And when you take really deep belly breaths, it's this vagus nerve that's activated. And this vagus nerve then activates that calm state in our body, which is called the parasympathetic nervous system. The other reason why taking a breath and taking a pause is so important before you react to anything during your day is because when we act based on our triggers, we're oftentimes acting on automatic. And when we act on automatic, we're acting usually based on old patterns, thoughts, stories, and beliefs. And when you take that pause, it gives your brain and your mind a chance to shift states and think about how you actually want to show up in this moment and what is the identity that you want to embody. This is how you break out of old patterns, stories, thoughts, and beliefs. As long as you continue to automatically react to triggers, you will continue to keep yourself stuck. You need to bring a level of consciousness into your day and into your life so that you can get more control over your life and taking just one breath. Okay, I'm not talking about you lighting some candles up and, sitting on a pillow in a corner and like meditating and chanting like Om for 5 hours. No, all it takes is one breath for you to shift the state of your nervous system and for you to actually become intentional about how you want to show up in your life. The more intentional and conscious you become of how you're showing up, the more control that you'll have over your life. This also just helps you to reset your focus and come back into the present moment instead of just spiraling. How many times during the day have you just spiraled and lost control of your thoughts, and then as a result of that, you don't end up doing your work as properly or as well as you should be? And the best part about all of this is that this truly builds your resilience over time. What you're going to start to notice is that the stuff that used to once trigger you triggers you less and less and less. And you'll start to notice that as your capacity to handle these stresses increases, your capacity for success also increases as well. So please, next time you feel triggered, take a pause. You don't have to react right away. You don't have to answer that email, that text message, answer that phone call right away. This is your life, and you are allowed to decide when someone is allowed to take your energy, time, and resources. You don't have to react or answer to anyone right away if you don't want to. Tip number 3 for emotional regulation is to reframe. And if you missed that, it was to reframe. What I really want you to remember is that it's never that serious. It is never that serious. There is nothing that you can't figure out and work through. Like, seriously, you have to take control of your perspective because the way that you see things is what controls your life. So why not choose to see things in the absolute best freaking way possible, especially when you are going through hard things? Going back to the example of when I used to have patients that would cancel, and in the beginning of starting my business, it would really, really trigger me. I started to shift my perspective around of that. When people would cancel or reschedule and more time would open up in my schedule, instead of it meaning that, oh my God, I'm a bad doctor, no one wants to work with me, everybody hates me, I reframed it to mean that, oh, this just means that I get to work and have more time to do this extra project that I've been working on. Or this means that I have more time to just be by myself and go on a walk or do something to support and care for myself because this week has been really busy. And as soon as I started to reframe and give that situation a new meaning, a new perspective, it completely changed the way that it affected me and impacted me. And this is another way that you stop letting the same things trigger you over and over again. You do that by changing the meaning and giving these situations a fresh new perspective so that you can see the good in everything. This is also really important because it reduces negative self-talk. There is no use for you in staying in a state of negativity. Like, absolutely no use. Nothing big, beautiful, and bold ever gets built from this state. When you reframe and choose to see the good in a situation, it puts you in that positive perspective and gives you the motivation you need to actually move forward. Changing how you look at a situation also just changes the emotional response to it. And this is how you get more control of that situation. For example, if I constantly felt really negative about patients canceling, I would end up feeling even more stuck in that state. And I wouldn't give my mind a chance to creatively think about how I can reduce cancellations and improve patients from coming to see me and sticking to their actually originally scheduled visits. And because in those moments I was able to see the positivity in this, I was able to still be my biggest cheerleader, hype myself up during these times, I was able to shift my practice in a way where now it just barely ever happens. People don't reschedule as much because I've built such a proper plan in place for them, and my patients are genuinely excited to see me and have sessions with me because they know the value that they're going to get from each session. Reframing is what improves productivity because you don't end up dwelling on the situation and instead you focus on moving forward. This is how you ultimately build mental flexibility, which is by far one of the most important skills and traits that you can have if you want to be a high performer. People who are maximizing their potential, achieving these big goals, are so fantastic at being adaptable and flexible to what happens around them. And most importantly, they don't let the things in their environment define their self-worth and their ability to actually meet their goals. Emotional regulation tip number 4 is to get up and move. You are sitting way too long during the day. And the way that I want you to think about this is that as you experience thoughts and emotions throughout the day, If you don't give them a place to go, you essentially become this like pressure cooker who ends up exploding. And this is why, for so many of us, after a long day at work, we crave alcohol, we crave junk food and snack because we haven't actually processed our thoughts and emotions. Our body hasn't moved, and we feel like this giant pressure cooker that just needs something to relieve the stress and tension. If you feel like that's you, like by the end of the day, you have zero capacity for your personal life, zero capacity to handle being around your family, you feel irritated, you go towards junk food and ordering really ultra processed foods on like Uber Eats, or you turn towards alcohol to release the tension at the end of the day, you need to get up and move your body more. When you move your body, and actually Tony Robbins says this so well, he said that emotion is energy in motion. It's so true. And with this energy in motion, if you don't give this energy a place to go, these emotions are going to constantly build up within you. One of the most radical shifts that I've made during the day, which has really allowed me to regulate my emotions in a more powerful way, is to go on a 10 to 15-minute walk every 2 to 3 hours. Moving your body acts as a mental reset for your brain, and honestly, it works so well, especially when you feel just creatively stuck or you can't find a solution to a problem that you're facing. When you move your body, your brain literally gets more oxygen and nutrients to it, which can actually improve your thinking. And light movement actually decreases stress levels. Very important to say light movement, because if you do extreme workouts, they are going to increase your stress levels more. Not to say that that isn't beneficial, but we're specifically talking about emotional regulation and learning how to manage our stress and triggers more. So if you go on these light walks, do gentle yoga, tai chi, qigong type movements, it actually lowers your stress and allows you to show up in the situation in a more resilient way. So next time during the day you feel triggered by something, you feel stuck on a problem, and you don't know how to move forward, get up and go on a walk. It is going to give you so much mental clarity. Something I would also encourage you to do is, before you get up and go on that walk, set an intention for what you want this walk to bring to you and the type of clarity that you want to have. So if I ever feel creatively stuck on a problem, I will set the intention of, I want more clarity on the social media posts to make this week. I'll take a couple deep breaths and then I'll go on this walk and I'll just let my mind run free. And it is so wild just to observe and just see the downloads that come to you when you set the intention of what clarity you want to have during this walk. Emotional regulation tip number 5, this is honestly such a fun one, is to talk to yourself internally about the experience that you want to be having. You might be like, what does that mean? So let me share an example of this. I was actually talking to one of my coaching clients about this. She owns a dog training business and she makes tools for owners using Canva. So medicine charts and things like that for their pets. And she told me that, she hates working on Canva. Before she starts working on Canva, there's just so much like, dread, negativity in her mind, so much resistance because she doesn't want to do it. And as she's working on the thing, she's just hating it. She feels like it's annoying. And when I was talking to her about it, I was like, no wonder you hate doing this. The expectation that you go into this is that it sucks, you hate it, you don't like it, and you're setting yourself up so perfectly to have the worst experience ever using Canva. And so I told her to start talking to herself internally about the experience that she wants to be having while she's on Canva and before she goes on Canva. So this can look like, saying things to yourself like, I love using Canva. Canva is such a wonderful app. I'm so grateful to be living in a time where we have an app like Canva that I can use to create all these amazing tools. My clients love it when I create medicine charts and training tools for their pets. My clients are so grateful for all these additional value things that I add to the support that I provide them with their pets. So as you can see, this is all about talking about internally about the experience that you want to be having and the outcome that you want whatever you have you're working on to have on the people around you. And so, before a meeting, this can look like, I love going to meetings. I have such great value to add to the meetings that I go into. People love it when I share the ideas and thoughts that I have in my meetings. Before checking emails, I will literally tell myself, my email is flooding with new opportunities and people booking discovery calls, and I love to check my emails and to see all these amazing opportunities that I am getting. It is just such a super fun exercise, and it just brings a sense of enjoyment and pleasure and joy to the things that you are doing on a day-to-day basis. Like, you're going to check your emails anyways. You're going to go to the meetings anyways. You're going to do all these things anyways. why can't you have the expectation of this going in the best way? What this really helps you do is that this really helps you set that positive intention, and it just helps you to internally guide yourself to the feelings, the beliefs, and the experiences that you want to be having. And when you shift your dialogue towards the experience that you want to be having, it shifts the dialogue away from negative thoughts and emotions and just creates a more pleasant experience for yourself. Also, by actively choosing your internal narrative, you get to have more power and control over your life, which naturally builds more confidence. I know that you're not always going to have that pleasant experience that you're telling yourself internally, like it might not actually happen in reality, but here's the thing, even if that pleasant experience doesn't actually happen in reality, like say you're telling yourself this meeting is going to go so great, but then it doesn't, what happens is that mentally it just prepares you to respond better to those high pressure situations. And this is because you're coming from those emotions of joy, calm, ease. And when you come from those emotions of joy, calm, ease, and peace, you tend to react based on those emotions as well. And this just naturally gives you better control and response over high pressure situations. So these are the tips that I have for you to help you regulate your emotions during the day. As a recap, tip number 1 is to practice some sort of meditation or visualization in the morning. Tip number 2 is to take a breath when you get triggered. Tip number 3 is to reframe. Tip number 4 is to get up and move, or you're going to feel like a pressure cooker. And tip number 5 is to talk to yourself internally about the experience that you want to be having. I really want to end this video off by emphasizing the importance of learning how to regulate your emotions during the day. When you do this, you prevent yourself from burning out, you gain more power and control over your life, and honestly, you just 10x your success that much faster, and I want that for you. If you are serious about maximizing your potential and you want to learn the holistic approach, aka the mindset, diet, movement, sleep protocol designed to help you optimize your brain health, then use the link in the bio to book a free 30-minute discovery call with me so that we can talk about what support for you looks like.